All right. Well, we about to kick this thing off, y'all. Good evening. Make some noise, y'all. If y'all ready to break down some barriers, if y'all ready to start some deep conversations up in this piece tonight. You know what I'm saying? All right. Further ado, the person that has started this whole thing, the person that put together this whole thing for everybody to be here tonight, give it up. Warm welcome. She's a mother. She's an entrepreneur. She's a mental health specialist. The visionary behind the Impact on Social podcast streaming on Apple Music. Make sure y'all check that out. Apple Music. She's the reason we are all here tonight, bringing her heart hustle, her love for Jesus into everything that she does. Give it up for the incredible Corinne Watson. The whole thing. Skip that. But Corinne, this the lady behind it all. But real quick, y'all, shout out to my co-host Bree over here on the side right here. Give it up for Bree one motherfucking time. Woo!
Can y'all hear me? How y'all doing? Thank y'all for coming out tonight. We are here. Welcome to Impact on Social. This is a conversation for us by us. Thank you. Can I have that paper, please? Without further ado, I want to introduce my illustrious panel to you all, who you all have come out to see. So for starters, we're going to start off with the lady who runs the I Am Tangier podcast, Transparency Saves Lives. Give it up for Tangier Jones. Mrs. Boyd, excuse me. Mrs. Boyd, I'm sorry. She married now, y'all. She married, okay? She's laid back. She's chill. She likes riding in big body cars, but she loves spending more time with her family. If y'all could give it up for Courtney Court Dog Washington. Woo! And last but surely not least, we got our homeboy, Terry Goofies Jones. You guys seen him on Instagram. You guys see him on TikTok. I know y'all see him everywhere. He's bringing the funny, but he's also bringing the serious tonight. So y'all give it up for our DC's own comedian, Terry Goofies Jones. Perfect. It's lit. So I'm thankful that everybody's here tonight, and we're going to kick off tonight's conversation getting everybody's position on mental health. I'll start with mine, and I feel like the stigmas in our community are that people are lacking God. That's my argument. Argue me down if you would like, but I feel like our people are missing our spiritual component, our faithfulness to God, and we're away from God, so that is causing our mental disruption. That's my argument. Fight me. Okay, you want to help? I want to get your position, Terry, and then we can move to Courtney, and then we'll go with Tangier.
I think it's a lot. God, we can start with God for sure. God is number one. So but I think it's a lot. I think it's community. I think it's past trauma. I think it's a lot of stuff that we gotta attack when we talk about mental health, and that's what we're gonna talk about.
I agree. What you think it is, Courtney?
Like you said, it's a number of things, but I feel like in our community, particularly the Black community, we like to ignore things until it gets too late. So that's a huge thing.
We're gonna get into it. So you say ignore. You can't take mine and say God. No,
it's everything. Past trauma.
The traumas. Yeah. Okay. And what's your position, Mrs. Boyd?
I mean, I would agree with him on trauma. That has been my experience with unpacking my own mental health. Is the lack of understanding on how trauma affects you and how it impacts every aspect of your life.
I agree. So I truly believe that I agree with you, and I agree with you mainly. I think trauma does cause mental health issues. I believe that anything that you have dealt with as a child obviously follows you into your adulthood. If you don't heal it, it will follow you. It will hinder you. It will provoke situations. It will prevent situations as well. Everybody has a red flag. I know you guys are wondering what these red flags are for. So a little bit, these are going to be conversation interrupters, agreeers, or disagreeers. If I see a flag, if you're comfortable with a speaker coming to you, they will give you the mic and you have an opportunity to share what it is you disagree or agree with. Everybody on the same page? Let me see our red flags. All right, there we go. All right, so can you all agree or disagree that African American people need more therapy? Okay. Can you agree or disagree that African American people don't get the help that they need? Is there somebody who can share why they feel like people don't get help? You want to stand up? Okay, here. I have another mic.
So I'm not gonna lie. That question gets everybody. Ooh, that question gets everybody. What I enjoyed was the ages. It's like the first question. It's like a certain drop off because they didn't know. But there was one person that kept their flag up. You were first. I seen you, and then you came after. I'd ask you to.
My name is Danae Jones. Hi, nice to meet you. I think that a piece that's missing, as a person who has been diagnosed with depression and anxiety, therapy is definitely something that's missing in our community, but also our community being fearful of taking the medication. Because I was diagnosed, I was able to take medication, and it helps me tremendously. I had anxiety in a lot of aspects of my life, and sometimes I need my medication to relax and to balance and to come back and be centered. So yes, I do think that God is definitely missing, but you can't say God will take care of it, and you can't pray it away. I'm a firm believer of you have to put some feet to your prayers. Faith without works. Come on, y'all know what it is. So that's just my spill on it.
Thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
sharing. I appreciate that. And to piggyback off of what you said, medication is something that is necessary for most people, and a lot of people don't understand that there's chemical things that we don't know are happening to us, which are causing our disruption in our mental. So I was being facetious when I say we're lacking God, but I know that there are many other levels that contribute to our mental health. And obviously chemical imbalances are one. You have a lot of people who have post-traumatic stress disorder or bipolar disorder or what we call chronically ill axis disorders, where they need like a schizophrenia or, excessive depression. Major depression is what they have it licensed as. But when you have these dire, strong chronic illnesses, there's a chemical imbalance happening in you, and you may need medication. So I think what turns people away in that case is that there's a stigma, like you said, on taking medication. Everybody don't want to be associated with having to be on a regimen. It gives them a stigma. Can anybody agree with that? Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you again. I appreciate that. So the next argument we have is parenting in our communities. So we're going to give you this question, Tangier. Parents, we've got bills, we have kids, we have a world that ain't kind. How do you make sure your kids knows that it's not okay to be okay?
Or that it is okay.
That it is okay. I'm sorry. It's okay to be. It's okay not to be okay.
So for me, I have an 8-year-old daughter, and I found the best way is to show her. So there are times, or there have been times when I have felt completely overwhelmed and overstimulated, and I've literally needed to sit in the bathroom in the dark, in silence. And here she come knocking on the door. Mommy, can I sit with you? And so I let her sit with me, and she's like, why are you sitting in the dark? And I'm just like, well, Mom, because Mommy feels overwhelmed. Like, I think to a certain extent, it's okay to share with your child on a level that they can understand that doesn't necessarily put the weight of your experiences as an adult onto them, because children need to know that you're human, that you have emotions, that you have feelings. And I remember when my daughter was younger, expressing to her that I was frustrated because of something she was doing. And that was an emotion that she could understand. Like, oh, I know what it means to be frustrated. And so she did what I needed her to do because she understood me being frustrated. Right. So I would say my biggest thing is, one, showing them that it's okay and that they need to give you grace as an adult and as a human when you're not okay. And then also being okay with their big emotions. Like, I know a lot of times, especially when you have a child that's like very, very emotional. My child's a Cancer, so she likes to cry a lot. Right. And sometimes it's annoying, like, girl, we doing this again, like, dang. But sometimes, and as a parent, when your child is having a meltdown because they're like overly tired or, they had a long day, and just giving them the tools to be like, okay, you need to go to sleep. Like, go lay down, or maybe you need to go put your meditation music on, or you need to just go
Because
you
their
know,
clocks run out too.
exactly.
Their
So
clocks
just being
definitely run
aware
out,
of
too.
like, okay, this is not her just having a temper tantrum. This is she needs something and she doesn't know how to express what she needs. So I'm as the adult, okay, this is what you need. You need to go lay down, go to sleep, so you can get refreshed.
Thank you so much for sharing, Tanya. Can anybody agree with that sentiment? I know we got a lot of parents out here and grandparents too. I won't look at any of y'all in your eyes. I won't. So the next prompt is for goofies. I said, we all know that one cousin who brings that drama to the cookout, okay? How do you keep your peace dealing with toxic family members?
I mean, it's just always gonna be a challenge dealing with anybody toxic, whether they family, but it's extra hard when they family because you got that love for them, but you wanna, you really wanna do something. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but I think it's just important to have tools to learn how to keep your peace, whatever that is. Whether if you got breathing exercises or just somebody else around you who you can talk to and let your stress out because toxic people are everywhere. You can't get away from that.
But when they come into the cookout, though,
yeah.
Anybody ever had an experience with a family? It don't have to be a cousin, with a family member that's just like maybe your feelings for them outweigh the way they're treating you. You're like, I take more from this person than I should because they're my family. Can anybody agree with that? Okay. Anybody want to share? Keep it for that. Okay, Bree, we got one.
Put my flag up too.
You
For the
don't count.
record. I definitely had my flag up. I grabbed one from the back. Y'all not having older fun today.
So I am the daughter of someone who has a drug addiction, and it has like ebbs and flows with how they're doing. And I would say that like oftentimes I put her in front of me because I understand what she's going through.
Yeah.
And I don't want to take that out on her, but I have to consider myself in that like I also have needs and I also have boundaries.
Yeah.
So like it's learning the management of like saying like, no, this is not okay for me. I'm going to distance myself as necessary.
Has it ever gotten toxic?
Yeah.
What's toxic?
To the point where like I'm enabling her, I would say.
Okay.
I am just okaying her behaviors, being like, well, you're my mom.
Mm-hmm.
It's all good because I love you.
Right.
And not considering myself. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, like, even though I love her, I have to love me more.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. What's your name?
Vogue.
Vogue? Yeah. Nice to meet you, Vogue. Thank you for sharing.
Love it.
That was very nice. Okay, Courtney. What's up, Court dog? How you feeling over there, Court? You quiet. Y'all know Courtney laid back. She be in the cut like germs, for real. Black love is beautiful, Courtney, but it ain't always easy, okay? How do you support your partner dealing with depression or anxiety without compromising your own?
I just feel like when you're in a relationship, you learn your partner and you try to be as gentle as possible. Like me, and I fail at that sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, do this and do that, But sometimes it's like
mental health being
but sometimes that's not the right approach. I feel like when you have a partner, you need to be gentle in your approach. You need to be open and honest and listen. And sometimes if they're venting, just ask them, do you want my advice? Or are you just want to vent right now?
Somebody like
can I give you some advice right now? Or can I tell you how you can do this differently? So that's just how I do. I try to. I don't, like I said, I'm not always the best at it. And
I shouldn't have asked you that question.
No, but it's
like that wasn't my question.
No, but that's how things should be handled when you have someone.
I agree.
It's patience. Being kind, you still got to remember that's still your girlfriend, that's still your boyfriend, that's still your husband, your wife.
Yeah,
you got to treat them the best.
Yeah,
that you got to remember that's still your
a meme. Well, not a meme. A video posted on, I think, on the Shade Room the other day, and they were talking about a young lady who was cooking in the kitchen for her husband, like trying to tell all the girls her age, like, yeah, when my husband comes home from work, I want his food to be cooked, hot and ready, steaming. And it was the emphasis on that she had this life that she could live where she could provide that happiness or peace for her partner. I have and anybody can attest to this, there is this thing or a stigma, if you will, with relationships that people expect certain things from their partner, but they're not cultivating the environment for that partner to thrive, to be their best version, to help them. Can anybody else agree with that?
I agree.
Okay, you want to share something? No, you just was agreeing. You okay? We're like, what? I'm coming to get you.
I got somebody.
That's my little sister, yeah.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing? No, honestly, I just wanted to piggyback on what she said, honestly, because if I know I have my moments and I'll be completely transparent when I'm not in the mood, y'all. Like, in my partner, she's asking me questions. She's like, hey, is there anything I can do? I'm like, hey, don't ask me no questions right now. I need a moment. But she's understanding of the fact that I do need a moment, and that I do need a moment to, get those answers that she's asking for. Because when she is kind of throwing them at me, I don't want to say I don't know because my pride, right? I don't want to say I don't know right now. Like, give me a second. But I'm just saying, give me a moment. Let me answer your questions. And then I'm coming back with like 30,000 solutions. And she's like, okay, all right, we'll figure it out. But still, I do agree with what you said. But when you do feel overwhelmed and you don't feel like you're in the mood necessarily, you kind of got to take a step back because your partner doesn't know that you're not in the mood. Right. Your partner doesn't know that you're overstimulated. So you have to communicate that. Like, hey, I'm not doing too well right now. Give me a few seconds. Let me come back to you with some answers. But don't always be, too mean like I was. You
Perfect. I like that. Thank you, Jasmine. That's Jasmine. All right. We all talk about trauma a lot these days, and I know it was mentioned earlier. Does anybody here on the panel, I won't put anybody in the audience on the spot, care to share any instance of trauma that impacted them, that kind of compelled them or propelled them to be who they are? Sure.
I'll go first. Because this is something I've talked about openly and will be sharing openly on my podcast, is my first marriage. It was abusive, narcissistic abuse, psychological, emotional. It started to get to the physical aspect, but there was never any like beating, hitting, physical. But just the psychological abuse was enough to be traumatic, and not even in a sense, it was traumatic. And having to like go through that process of what people don't understand is that trauma actually rewires your brain. Like you start to think differently about people. Like I went through a phase. I felt like I used to be very, very naive, and I didn't really understand that people in this world can truly be evil and manipulative and deceptive.
Did you find yourself finding the good in everybody? Like,
yes, I will always find the good. Like, I thought I could love the hell out of someone, literally, and realizing that a person has to want to do the work themselves. It doesn't matter how much you love them or enable them or do anything. They have to want it for themselves. And coming to that realization, it was very hard. It was like a whole like paradigm shift. And that paradigm shift in and of itself was traumatic. Not even just the trauma of the relationship, but having to rethink how the world works and how I thought about the world. Like, that's huge. And that's what trauma typically does. Like, especially when your traumatic experiences from someone that you're close to or that you would expect to love you and take care of you, and being traumatized by that person, it causes like a complete it's like mind blowing.
Yeah. Well, I don't mean to like put you on the spot, but how do you think we could unpack that in our communities? Like, not necessarily her particular situation, but the effects of trauma. And I know you mentioned narcissistic abuse. That's a word that's seemingly new. My sister say I abuse that word because I call everybody a narcissist at this point. If you look like or just smell like it, you're a narcissist. Simple as that. Because you have people who are unaware, they're not self-aware. They don't know how they show up in other people's lives. They've always gotten by being themselves. I know you have a lot of people, even in the older generations, who have done for themselves their entire lives. So the new generation coming in, it's not a segue, if you will. They're still kind of in unhealed trauma mode themselves, So there are things that we need to unpack as a community, but where does it typically start? Where do you think it should start?
And you saying just unpacking your trauma? Yeah,
because it's coming from different facets. Like, let's just take a household into account. If you have we're talking about Southeast DC, okay? If we have a mom in the house, a single mom, maybe 3 children, I'll keep it short, like 3 children. Maybe their grandmother is around the corner or not too far. This is the typical. I grew up here. Everybody grew up with their grandmother in my era, only because all of our moms were on drugs. Red flags. Anybody had a mama? Okay. Mm-hmm. So we go, and that's great for those who don't, because we all don't have the same trauma. But that doesn't mean that our traumas differ just because we have different environments. And a lot of people find themselves disagreeing when just because you grew up in a household with your mom and your dad and a silver spoon, and I grew up with parents who were out all night, doesn't mean that we won't connect or bond on some type of commonality, because what you had doesn't make you who you. Just because you have what I don't have doesn't mean that you're better off than I am. It doesn't mean that your circumstances are any different than mine are. I have a best friend whose mom is here in the audience. She grew up with her mom, her dad, and she would tell us in our face. I grew up with a picket fence, and she was serious about that. But me and her bonded on our own accord. But I grew up with nothing. Am I lying? I would go to my friend's house. I would go. Her mom would leave clothes for me at her house. They would leave clothes in the closet for me. My friend had an extra locker at school. She would leave clothes in the locker for me to wear at school. But we bonded over those things. What I didn't have, she had, and she compensated. And what I didn't know, she looked at me and told me as an adult woman that I aspired to be like you since we were kids. And I never ever thought, what would you want to be like me for? And you had everything I needed. So I don't want anybody here to be blinded by the idea that just because you're coming from two walks of life that there's no commonality. Sorry to get off topic. All right. Appreciate that. All right. So we have one more. I wanted to get into the LGBTQ topic tonight because I have a lot of people here supporting that cause. But more than anything, I know a lot of people disagree with the lifestyle. And you've had I've known Courtney, you guys, since I was like maybe 9th or 10th grade. I've known her for a very long time. We've had very intimate conversations as of recently that were very enlightening. So if you don't mind sharing, and I know you have some older people here, you have people who from all walks of life here. Some people think that it's a disease. Some people think that it's a phase, whatever the case may be. Do you want to unpack or share to the world, if you will, like your experience?
My experience just growing up, just feeling.
Your feelings. Or how do you feel like? Do you feel like your personality or your sexual orientation has any way affected your mental health, personally or from how other people view you?
Well, okay, so we had this conversation, but
they did.
Right, I'm about to say. So I'm gonna remember what I said because I feel like my mental health. I grew up in a family where my mother's family's from New York City, my father's family's from DC. They were just gay people all around. You know what I mean? So I didn't grow up in a particularly really religious family where they would, talk down on all that stuff. But my family just accepted me for who I was. Right. Not everyone agreed with it, but they still love me, and that made a difference because I have friends that whose family completely rejected them, and I can tell it affected them in many bad ways. They turned to drugs, they turned to sex, they turned to things. I never had to turn to anything. My mother loved me. She wished I wasn't gay. I told her I was gay. She cried. But and my father was gay. And it just. But the crazy part about my dad was gay, but he hated the fact that I was gay. That's another story. But
we can't both do this.
Right. But coming from a man,
come on, one of us got to be right.
Coming from a black man's perspective, my father grew up with all brothers. Coming from a black man's perspective, it's a different perspective that he grew up in the 70s and stuff. So he was bullied, beat up, and all that other stuff. But he just didn't want that for me. But I didn't have that experience. So I feel like my mental health was never really affected because I came from a very loving family, a very open family. Had I not come from the type of family that I did, I could have ended up very differently.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Let's give it up for Courtney's parents, okay? Because everybody doesn't have that experience. So I don't like to talk about people when they're not here, but my mom, she's passed away, and I grew up in a. You gonna beat me, Grandma? Yeah. I gotta watch what I say. My grandma here, y'all. Like, don't talk about her baby now, okay? But at any rate, my mother was a lesbian. I grew up in a lesbian household, so I grew up saying to my friends that, I know what unconditional love is because my mom showed me that she can love anybody. So in my mind as a child, I was taught that unconditional love means you accept whoever for whatever. And that was what caused that's what hindered my mental health because I saw potential in everybody. I could look at you and say, even though you're fucked up, excuse my language, even though you're fucked up right now, you're not going to be here all the way. And if I'm in your life, I thought that highly of myself that I could at least affect you to some degree. Like, well, I don't carry myself that way. I don't do what you do, but maybe I can implement some type of structure or give you some type of rub off on you so that you'll improve. But what it does is tarnish you. You can't wash a dirty rag. I mean, a dirty car with a white rag and don't expect it to stain. It just doesn't work like that. So I want to be transparent for those, but I know that we have a lot of people that are in the community in the house tonight, and I know that that's not the situation for everybody. I've had my own personal situation, and I have to be candid, obviously, but I came home from school. I had my situation where I thought I was attracted to women because I had grown up seeing it. So not more than just accepting everybody. I'm like, well, this is okay to be, until I got into somebody else's dynamic and they like, oh, you're not doing that over here. That's not how that goes. You can't, if you're going to do it, you ain't gonna do it in my house. So I had that. That's okay, Grandma? I can say that. That's what she said. That's all she said. We move on to that. Does anybody in the audience want to share at least an experience? I know we have some people here representing the community. If you're not, I won't put you on the spot at all. Red flag, no. Okay, we're moving on. Perfect. Let's do. Well, I'm sorry. You put your flag down. Up in the back. All right.
Come sit with you.
Come sit beside me, girl.
Hey, y'all.
Hello again.
Okay.
So I am not a part of the community. However, I consider myself an advocate for the community.
Okay.
I am married to someone who grew up in a 2-parent household, very religious. I grew up in a single family home. I'm in my family. We did have some people come out. And I just wanted to understand them and understand what it is that I could do to, love them. What did they need from me?
I think it's just loving them.
Yes. And I had a conversation with my husband because we have 3 children. And I think that this is a conversation that you definitely should have when you're getting married. What would you do if one of our children come out as gay or lesbian or a part of the community? And he said, verbatim, well, because I feel like your first answer is what sticks with the child. Yeah. And he said, well, I'm going to first start talking about the Bible. And I just let him talk. And I said, okay. So I'm gonna roll with you on that. But if you're gonna bring up the Bible on this subject, let's open the Bible from page 1 and let's go through the whole Bible and let's go through every sin. If we're gonna talk about that one sin, we're gonna talk about them all, and that's how we'll raise our children. And he backed down because my thing is, everybody, sin is sin, and whether you believe it's a sin or not, I lean towards the side that God wants us to be happy first, show grace first, and love first before you can't even judge. Because if we're being honest, if you judging, right, that's a sin too, right, girlfriend?
No, it's not. It's not a sin. The Bible, we're not gonna get all the way into the Bible. I won't do that.
But what I'm saying is,
that's my position.
But what
right?
I'm
That's
saying
my
is,
argument.
we can't judge. We cannot judge. Only God can judge us.
That's right.
That's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is, if you don't consider yourself God, then what are you doing? If you're judging someone,
I agree with that.
And so that's
and
what
you're saying judge by like I'm judging what you're doing, and I'm choosing to condemn you to make you feel that.
Yes.
Now, that I don't believe in that. What I do believe in is judging somebody righteously because I love them, and that's what the Bible tells me to do. It tells me to judge you righteously. If I know right from wrong and I see you living wrong and I've chosen or taken the steps to live right, then I can't make you do anything, but I can offer you the opportunity to change your life. That's all I can do is plant a seed. I'm not God. So that's what people happen to do is they plant the seed, they want to water it, they want to sit there and watch it wait. They want to come back and say, did you do what I told you to do? Did you come back and they want to be God, and you can't do that.
And so I had a conversation really quickly. My daughter went to a private school when she was younger, and I had a conversation with 2 people. It was a mother and her son, and they were talking about my pastor who was okay with that community getting married. That was years ago, back when that was an issue. That was a topic on the ballot. And they were talking about, oh, well, I don't agree with, this, that, and the third. And I said, well, if I look around in just this circle, the three of us are single parents. I wasn't thinking about God when I was getting, my mother's here, bent over though.
All right, y'all. We done had some deep conversations so far. Amazing.
I didn't say it, mommy.
I wanted to give a shout out to Courtney, Terry, and Tangier for visiting us on the couch so far. Right now, I'm going to pass the mic over to Lala because I think is Nika here. I don't see Nika. Raise your hand. She's not here. Okay, that's all right. All right, so we were gonna. I can still segue. Is everybody here following at We So Social? Raise your hand if you're following. If you're not, if the first three people that I see, that my sister see on the Instagram, first three people that you see follow, you can get them a VIP bag out the VIP room. At WE, you don't count. So social.
We So Social. Make sure y'all following that account.
Whatever name she see pop up on the follow.
Follow it right now.
Is that what it is?
Danny, Chanel.
So I can win. Look, I made a new page and everything, so I can win.
I did. I really did make a new page.
She made a new page.
I made a new page.
It don't count.
And I was gonna be first. I was. All right, so we've been getting real deep tonight. I truly appreciate all the interaction. It's been weightlifting for me personally. I don't know what it does for everybody else, but for me, thank you. I needed this night.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, Bree.
Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. Don't clap it up for me, clap it up for y'all.
Clap it up for yourself.
Y'all really
Y'all
for
showed
coming
up.
out for everything. But that's what this time is for. That's what community is. Having these conversations, these thoughts, this safe space, this networking. That's what it's for. Without it, we're nothing. But before we dive back into more real dialogue and talk, let's go ahead and stretch those legs, grab a drink, hug each other a couple of times, a little slight intermission.
Little brief intermission for y'all.
Brief intermission, little lineup change.
We gonna come back for real. We gonna come back, y'all, after a brief intermission and keep this conversation going. So y'all go take a break, go use the bathroom, take some shots, cause y'all dry. Take some shots, cause we about to get live after the second round. All right, we'll be back after this. All right. Everybody, welcome back. Give it up. Give it up. I hope y'all grabbed y'all drinks, did a little two-step, because we definitely was two-stepping to Tamia Close the door. Room floor. If y'all don't know it, we're going to learn it after this. I hope y'all found y'all way back to y'all seats because we literally are just getting started. The first half was just the beginning, okay? I hope y'all missed us because we missed y'all. Now that everyone's refreshed and recharged, let's get back to the magic. We got more laughs, more real talk, and maybe even a few surprises up our sleeves if y'all willing to stick around, okay? So sit tight, get comfortable, and let's dive back in. Who's ready to keep the vibe going? Y'all ready? Can I get some noise? Okay. All right. So before we jump back in, let's warm things up with a little game. I like to call this or that, okay? I'm going to throw out some quick choices. Y'all got to pick which one you riding with, okay? Just shout it out, no shame, okay? First up, therapy session or talk with grandma? Which one y'all doing?
Grandma.
Because grandma gonna give you that knowledge. Like grandma gonna tell you what you need to hear. Okay?
Therapy.
Shout out to grandma in the front of us. Give it up for grandma. Grandma, you agree with that? The best talks are the ones with you? That's right, because you know something, okay? All right, next up, y'all. The next one is hitting the gym or hitting the couch. My boo can't relate to this one because we be conflicted. Which one y'all doing? Y'all going to the gym or y'all laying down? I can't. Wait a minute. We doing the couch?
flag up.
Okay. And if you would land on the couch, if you would land on the couch,
I'm laying on the couch.
that's okay. We can be lazy. That's how we go through things. We can be lazy sometimes, okay? I'm with y'all on the couch, okay? All right, okay. We just gonna move our legs up and down. All right, last one, y'all. Last one. Mind your business or get in a business. What y'all doing? Y'all gonna mind your business?
So is minding your business a red flag response or getting in their business the red flag response?
When you say getting in the business, are you saying like I'm gonna get in your business?
It's getting in your business, girl. What's the
I'm
T?
minding your business.
Clock that
You
T.
ain't minding nobody business.
In your
Mind your own business. Mind your own. Anybody mind your own business?
Okay. All right, I hear y'all. I'm loving the energy that y'all giving. It is amazing. I really appreciate y'all. Y'all are everything. Okay. Now that we all loosen up, let's bring it back to our panel and keep the conversation flowing. Okay. Give it up for the CEO herself, Corinne. Take it away, baby.
Welcome back to Impact on Social, and this is a conversation for us by us. Without further ado, we're going to be introducing to y'all the next half of our panel, and let's start up. Before we dive in, let's meet the rest of them. All right, representing topics of fatherhood, community support, and holding it down for single, sexy, business-oriented, and no-nonsense individuals. Let's make some noise. He's got the swag, the style, and the knowledge to keep it real, representing millennial fellas with flavor and finesse. He said, don't call him a baby daddy because he's a father. Big active, okay? Let's show some love for Big Key, Marquis Jackson. Woo-hoo! That's my man in the 100 grand. Next up, she's not just a pretty face. She's the powerhouse behind Saria Flow Productions. She has her own digital media production company, Empire, and she has built from the ground up her own wine company called Whispering Grapes. Her from the ground up, and she's very fierce. She's fabulous, and she is running the show. I want to introduce you to my cousin, Saria Flow. Let's represent. And back with us again to serve a second cup of funny. He over here. This Terry Goofies. Give it up for Terry Goofies one more time. Yeah. So without further ado, I'd like to thank y'all. Welcome y'all for coming out. Y'all can say hi to y'all people. Say what's up. Hi, everybody. All right, I'm gonna start with you, Ree. So let's keep it real. When you're the only Black person at the office, I don't know if I'm sure. It feels like you're carrying the whole community on your back. How do you deal with code switching or how your mental health is affected by not being who you really are at work?
Okay, so let's just be 100% candid. Production is not an office, so outside is the office, okay? But that's the purpose I started Saria Flow Productions, because I've been the only woman on set or the only Black woman on set. And when I have been the only Black woman, I have had to deal with some racism, some prejudice, and even, of course, we all know, like, men, y'all gonna flirt, and y'all gonna do what y'all want to do in conversation. But one of the things that I have prided myself on is being a professional at all times. And while it's cool to, crack a joke and, keep things light, I make sure that I'm not affected by some of the things that they have said. And there have been times that I have been spoken to in some rude ways and told I was going to be blackballed out of the industry if I didn't do what they wanted me to do, coming from, the Watts. So, that didn't intimidate me, though, because at the end of the day, I come from a strong family. I'm a daddy's girl through and through. And my father always told me, like, since a little girl, don't let nobody punk you. And if you do, when you get home, you already know. So I think that's what has helped me in protecting myself, defending myself, is knowing like who I am internally and not letting a career or a position make me do something that I am not comfortable with doing.
I know a lot of working class people are here. Can anybody relate to waking up, putting on a different face? I'm sure we all can relate to that. Just waking up, putting on a different face, sometimes we don't feel like it, but we still going there. And to take it even further back, I know that there was a conversation to be had back in the 70s between Black men and Black women, where she said to him, lie to me. If you can go out to the white man and present this person to the world, surely you can come home and do that. And what happens is we go out into the world and we're able to put up this facade, but we abuse people that are close to us because we feel like, you know me, you should know better, or you know me, you should know that this is not what I mean, or this is what I do mean. And it's not fair because we literally watch you go out and pretend to be everything to everybody else. Anybody else can relate? Red flags. Let me see our red flags. Yes.
That's the beauty is like knowing the difference. Like for me, I didn't have to code switch in production because I came as my authentic self. Now, before I worked in production, I did work in corporate America for a little bit, and I did see that there was a huge code switching there. And you know, even still in those instances, because I used to work in the legal field for a couple of years, and I thought I was there so long enough, not so long, but long enough for me to be like, should I be an attorney? Because I've been working in this industry long enough because it makes you feel like you do have to code switch and get in with these people, that I was like, no, I am a producer. I'm not about to go and get an attorney, go get a legal degree or a Juris Doctor. Like, I need to be who I authentically am. And that's what made me actually quit and pursue my dream.
Is anybody else, thank you for sharing that. Is anybody else in here, and you don't have to raise your hand, but I'm sure there's somebody in here experiencing that? Like, I just want to leave this tidbit with you that if there's something as a burning desire inside of you that feels like, or compelling you to do something that you're innately grown to do it. There's nothing stopping you. Even if you have a 9 to 5. I know some people in here who have been working their 9 to 5 for 20, 30 plus years. And that should have been your money at some point. That should have been your business at some point, or something should have come of it other than you giving them all of you, because we know that the minute you're burnt out, they're going to replace you with somebody else. They're not going to throw you a party. They're not going to give you fanfare, welcome backs, or take a break. They're not going to tell you that. They're going to burn you out. They're going to use you the way they see fit. Mm-hmm. So that's a tidbit for anybody in the working class. We can move on. This subject right here is one. I know this is about to be the ruffle the feather one, so we waiting. Okay. Friends. How many of us have them? Friends can be our biggest support, but what do you do when your friends aren't aligning with your goals? What do you do? Key, I'm going to ask you this question. What do you do when you find that your friends are the ones draining you? Go ahead, big baby. Testicles one too. You might take that.
He's a big dog. I got it.
Oh, he's fish.
That's a good question. It's tough because it's a two-way street. You want to care about your mental, but you love that person too much for you to try to change the situation. I also think it's complacency. You've been with this person for so long and they know everything about you, so it's like you brush the bad vibes to the side. Mm-hmm. You sit there and you say, oh, this person won't do this to me because we've been friends for so long. Mm-hmm. You would think this person won't carry me this way, or you wouldn't think that their personality would be the way that they are because you put on the blinders because you love that person. So to answer that personally, that's something I struggle with. A lot of my friends can say that I'm there for them through everything. But a lot of
play with my
a lot of them, get to the point of not receiving how you are. They get to a point of not understanding. They don't put themselves in your shoes.
Do you think it's a bit of, I've heard this, growing in different directions? When does growing in different directions, at what point in growing in different directions should these friendships take that conversation or with one another to say, hey, maybe this isn't going to work out? Mm-hmm. Because friends don't break up like relationships. And when we'll get on friendship breakups next. at what point do you go which route? Because like you said, you may not identify that you've outgrown your friend, but I'm complacent with the relationship because I've known you. This is my sandbox. That's what we call it. This is my sandbox. I've known you my entire life. So I'll sweep this under the rug, or I probably won't even identify it as an issue because I've noticed that this has just been you. You see what I'm saying? So does anybody relate to that? Anybody outgrown any friendships, or can I ask anybody that's brave enough to give me some insight? At what point do you, if you're growing in different direction, who's it left up to say, listen, this might be going a different direction? I agree. We got a question down here on the front row.
Hey, who had the question? Nice. I knew she was a response. Comment?
Okay, so this is my take on that. You have to put yourself first. My father gave us this mantra that we live by. You are the most important person in the world. You to you, not anybody else. So if a friend isn't taking care of you the way that a friend should, you got to compartmentalize that friend and put them in that box, and maybe not fool with them in that same manner that you used to, sandbox or not, because I have several sandboxes that are no longer in my life because just one, disrespectful, don't treat you, the way a friend is supposed to, somebody that you called your sister, and you just like, girl, that's not how my sister would treat me. So
how I would treat my sister.
Exactly. So if you got to cut them off, cut them off. You'll meet more people that will treat you a lot better than that person that you've known all your life. So do not be afraid to cut somebody off to take care of you.
Yes. Sure. We got one more question down here in the front. The good man. Get the good man. It is good side too.
I'm sorry to say that. My name is Good Man. Well, that's what everybody call me. I ain't named myself that. My mother didn't name me that. But anyway, but with the friend situation, I have a situation. I'm glad you said that because I'm gonna give both ways with a friend that from the sandbox, right? About 3 weeks ago, I was a little down and out. And I guess he tired of me nagging him and whatever. You know what he told me to do? He said, Good man, go to 7-Eleven, steal something so he can lock you up so you can get some help. Okay, hold on, now listen. Now I was by another friend when he said that, and she said, Daddy can't be your friend from Sandbox, tell you to do something like that. And I thought about it, and I told him, I said, Good man, I would never tell you to do that to go get no help. Yeah, man, I can help my dad. Come on, good man, I don't want to go to jail to get no help. I can't get no help over there.
Can we acknowledge that sometimes, or at some point, what we think is good advice, I'm guilty of this. It's the only reason why I'm able to identify this. I'm guilty of giving good advice where it's not warranted. I didn't ask you that. And a lot of my friends will tell me, I didn't ask you that.
Yeah.
And I'm not being the friend that they need in the moment that they need me to be. That doesn't mean that I can't be a good friend. I just means that we have to learn each other's dynamics.
Yeah.
So in that moment, what I heard your friend is saying to you is that you need help. I don't know how to help you. Maybe this is a way to go get help. Is he right?
But when I'm down, don't kick me when I'm down. Help me, pull me up.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
I go to a stranger and they'll help me better than they give me better advice than he told me. I shouldn't have to go to jail to get no help.
Exactly.
Why can't I help?
And the reason why I'm saying that is because everybody's situation is unique. Everybody's different. People can only meet you where they are and how far they know how to go. So if he thought that the only way he could get help is to go get locked up,
That's
why he gave you that advice. I'm telling you this. The reason why he gave you that advice is because he feels like that's the advice that he would take.
I think he was giving me that advice because he was tired of me leaning on him that he had more problems.
He might have given you that advice for that reason.
And I'm going to give you another scenario. Now with the young lady.
Can we move on to one more question? Yes, we're gonna come back to you because we talking about friends for another minute too. Yeah,
I appreciate the what you
and I appreciate you for sharing with us. Thank you. There was one more, I think, right there. Is that my girl Danae? I can't.
I was about to say she go kick me out up here. She
about to come sit on the couch.
Almost Danae, not quite, but almost.
That's big Danae right there.
When it comes to friends, I am one of those people who I love new people. I'm a people person, right? But if I feel like you are no longer serving me the way I need to be served, or I'm no longer serving you in the way that benefits you, then we need to part ways. Now, we don't always have to end the relationship and we never hear from each other again. Sometimes you just need to have a break. But you need to know me and I need to know you well enough to say, look, we just need a break right now. I'm gonna holler at you in a couple months. I still love you. There's no love lost. We're still able to be here for one another, but right now, your problems are too much for me. My problems may be too much for you, so I can't be who you need me to be right now, so I need to back up. And that's you being intentional with the friendship that you want to have. And you're not always able to show up the way you want to, and they're not always able to show up the way they want to. So you need that space time, back up, reevaluate, and then come back as a better friend.
Okay.
Thank you.
I like that. I got a question off of that one. Give her some proper yeah. Good. I really appreciate that. Okay. Do you think we grant more grace to our friends than we do our partners? Absolutely. Yeah, of course. Yes. No? Who said no?
All the way up here.
All the way up here. I'm on here. Who that says here?
She said no.
Oh, go ahead. Why you say no, Nika? Oh, she want to be on.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Nika Corinne's big sister.
That's my big sister.
Here's why people extend more grace to their partners than they do their friends. People have the tendency to forget the same way you court your spouse is the same way that you court your friends. Okay. And then I said the same way you court your spouse is the same way you court your friends. At some capacity, sometimes, like the young lady, somebody else has said, sometimes people have a tendency to forget because of different traumatic situations, people get stagnant. Corinne and I have a friend who we all grew up together. However, we backed away from this particular friend because we were going in a different direction than this friend. I have always been the strong friend, tough friend. They touch you, I'm going to touch them friend. But it begins to get too much. But see, people can allow their spouses to end all, be all, do too much, and they keep forgiving them. But your friends step on your shoe, you don't want to be friends with them no more.
So, how many people agree with Nika? You give more grace to your partner. Who disagrees?
I just want to say, can I interject? Go ahead. So, just to piggyback on that, this is not for boyfriend, girlfriend. This is more so to spouses. Okay. You are supposed to be forgiving over and over again to your spouse because that is your life partner to death do you part. Now, with friendships, I do feel like you should also extend the same grace, but the level of admiration and respect for your partner is going to be higher because this is a person that you're with 24/7, day and night, in and out, in the same household. It's not the same with boyfriend and girlfriend because that man or woman could go any day, anytime. You should be cutting them off quicker than anything, just if you're going to cut off a friend. But I think that if you're talking about spouse, it's a higher level of admiration and respect.
I agree with that.
I asked him for $20. He gonna give me. She asked him for $50.
And he gave it to her. That's right. He gonna give it to her. She doing something you're not doing. I'm telling you that right now. She's doing.
I have a disagreement.
She's doing something you're not doing. Where Bree? Where you at, Bree? Where you go? We got a question down front row. Or comment. Oh, I can't see that far back. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, go ahead. Go. It's a big disagreement.
It's big because she's in my ear.
I'm sorry.
It's a big disagreement. I ain't even have to move.
How you doing? My name is Tiffany, Tiff for short.
Hey, Tiff.
Hey, Tiff.
Or Dr. Tiff, soon to be Dr. Tiff.
Excellence in the building.
Hey, y'all. So I disagree with what you were saying because
red flag. Red flag.
I was dating a young lady that brought that to my attention that I would give my friends more grace than I would give her. A lot of the times that my friends would do something, I would just kind of, oh man, whatever, pass it off. But when it came to her, I was on her like, no, this is wrong. You're not going to do this. You're not going to keep doing this. And then I didn't realize that it destroyed my relationship. Like it destroyed my relationship with her.
Because from the outside looking in, I guess everybody wants what they don't have, right? So from the outside looking in, if she's looking at you treating them better, she's she's growing insecurities within herself. This is something I'm not getting from her. Obviously, this relationship weighs more to her. I mean less to her because I can see it's proven how she interacts with them. Even with your friends, just like touching on what Saria said, you're going to show up more for your spouse. I agree with that. Your spouse, obviously.
You should. Yeah, you should.
You should.
I wasn't doing that. I was showing.
That's a good word. I don't got a spouse. So.
I was showing up more for my friends.
But you know what it's saying.
Yeah, I was showing up. I was showing up more for my friends than her. Like, she'll be like, "Oh, let's go out and do this." I'm like, "Nah, I'm tired. I don't feel like it." But then if my homeboy called, "Oh yeah, we down U Street or we down somewhere else,"
hell no.
And I didn't realize that.
So you telling me with your own lips right now, you heard the problem, right?
You say it again?
Let's do therapy.
You said I'm the problem?
So now we have a therapy now because
yes, I was the problem. I will admit that.
You admit it?
I hear that
breakthrough, y'all.
I hear there was an amazing question. Right.
Is there one more question back there, Bree?
The question was, well, what's wrong with that? That was the question.
The question was what?
The question was, well, what is wrong with that?
What's wrong with what?
What's wrong with saying no, choosing your friends over your girl? That was the question. What's wrong with that?
It's some red flags flagging in the front. Literally, they're like,
and I'm gonna just try to answer it. What's wrong with that is that's your woman. They not.
Exactly, and that's what I said. They're doing something that you're not doing. Whatever that looks
keeping you warm at night. Your friend.
Like.
The flags are waving, Bree. They waving. We got some in the front here. Right here. Get them. Let us speak on this.
Real fast. Shoot. So, I feel like all relationships, all friendships are life. If I'm your friend, I'm your life partner as well. Like these are the people that I have chosen to do life with. These are the group of people that I've chosen to do life with. So the boundaries that I have in that relationship are probably going to be similar to the ones that I have in my romantic relationships, because betrayal, dishonesty, all that stuff can happen in any relationship. So I'm going to treat my friends with the same amount of respect that I treat my partner. I'm going to give them the same amount. I'm going to try to give the same amount of space, because my individuality and my life path is also attached to these people as well. So yeah, like. Yes and no to everything else back there.
I agree with all of y'all.
I agree with
everybody. Actually, yes.
Yeah, we're gonna agree to disagree to agree.
Everybody hit that.
I agree with your sentiment. I really do. I feel like, personally, I feel like I don't grant my friends the grace, and any of my friends can tell you this. I am very short-tempered, mild-mannered with my friends because they are my life partners and they have been here my whole life. And you do know me better than this guy that I just met and I'm dating. You know what pushes my buttons, because I come and tell you when my buttons are pushed. So I hold my friends to a higher standard than I would somebody that I'm just getting to know. That doesn't mean that my spouse or my friend outweigh each other. That just means that the relationship should have some type of weight where we have a clear understanding of our friendship. And when those boundaries are crossed, I'm very strict on my boundaries. Yeah. Don't disrespect my boundaries. I learned that from my little sister. Mm-hmm. Like, her boundaries are very set in place. This is what will happen. This is what will not. Trust me. Yeah. Trust me. I won't tell you business. I swear to God, I will. But she's very strict. And I learn from my younger siblings and my older siblings. I learn from everybody because we can learn from one another. Right. But I do hold my friends to a higher esteem, because it's like, you know me. I call you on the phone and tell you how everybody else is affecting me. So you know the worst of the worst. We kiki, we kick it, we go out. And also to say to Grand Sugar, you get dressed for your friends. You get up, you get dressed, you go out, you look good with your friends, and some of y'all men or women can't come home and, okay, we're gonna go to the next subject. Okay. Do y'all hair, okay? For the women out there, do y'all hair for y'all man. Hello. And for the men out there, give your woman a soft life. Hello. Don't ask her to be soft if you ain't making the bed soft, okay? Yes. Okay. Okay. Want to have a battle of sisters in here. All right, we talk a lot about self-care. I know on the podcast last week or a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about coping skills and how we deal with all of these afflictions and things that afflict our mental health. So I'll start with you, because you over here chilling, looking like you about to start an R&B group. Taking everything in. You about to he recruiting for an R&B group. So So how do you think, like, what are some coping skills of self-care that you can leave everybody here with, as far as not being cliche, like, okay, we know go to sleep early, we know, bro, you know, eat healthy. Okay, but what are some for us?
I think one of the biggest coping skills is understanding. You know, when you don't understand something, that's the main reason why you trip out or why you know what I'm saying, you going through everything. So I feel like if whatever it is, if you find understanding, and how you find understanding is through communication, right? Because if me and you getting into it and we can't see eye to eye, but we not communicating properly, we never gonna see eye to eye. Right, you know what I'm saying? But I think everybody in here been saying the same thing, as if we can sit down and I can figure out what push your buttons and you figure out what's mine, maybe we can figure out whether we can be cool or we can't. You know what I'm saying? Or if, you know, because something might trigger, like, for instance, I always use this example. When we go out Baltimore, they use the word dummy, right? We don't use that word. Right. But if I don't know, that may be triggering to me. You know what I'm saying? It'd be like, who you calling dumb? You know what I'm saying? Or you know, and we down here we say kill Mo, and that might be disturbing to them. You know what I'm saying? So, right? Yeah.
You want to kill Mo?
Yeah, they like.
Oh, and why you want to kill
Mo? Why would you do that to Mo?
Kill Mo. Mo did nothing to nobody.
Shout out to Mo.
You're killing Mo.
But I think it's just understanding overall. I think if we get an understanding,
You
everything.
see people like to kill Mo.
You kill We love to kill Mo.
They love killing Mo. He dies over and over. Mo dies over and over.
For real.
Mo has been through it.
About to die again.
God bless Mo.
We gonna get Mo a holiday.
Mo needs his own holiday at this point.
Put some respect on Maurice Lane.
Mo, aka Maurice.
Yes.
Oh,
well, I'm about to ask one more question.
That's Mo for
You
sure.
can answer a question, okay? For those in the audience who knows somebody who may be struggling, who knows someone who might be struggling, what's one thing you would say to someone who needs help that just can't seem to make the first move? Anybody? Go ahead. It's a question.
I was gonna speak on that.
I don't know if I did with that red flag, and then in the front too.
Get it, Bree. Two
This should be
step,
fun.
2 step, going in 2 step.
Hi, I'm Tangier.
Hey, girl.
Right. I took my panel to the audience.
Let's do it, baby. That's what we like.
For someone, if I understood the question correctly, for someone who's like taking that first step into their mental health and trying to get help, that's what you're asking, correct? I always recommend therapy, or even like the crises center, like the crises lines, like the suicide hotline, or there are a lot of online tools, because you don't always want to talk to the people around you, because maybe you don't want people looking at you a certain way, or maybe you know your friends and family are not as understanding. So, you know, having those anonymous conversations, I've used them myself. When I was having like a real tough moment, let me go ahead and call this suicide hotline real quick and just let them know, hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing. And then having, you know, being able to talk to someone. So there's like the suicide hotline, there's a domestic violence hotline. There's a website called loveisrespect.org. They have a chat line. So like just knowing the resources that you have, if you're not ready to maybe have an in-person therapy, but being able to have like an anonymous conversation with someone to get you through the moment, to the next day, to the next hour.
That's perfect.
Can I piggyback off of that?
You gonna red flag that? You gonna red flag?
He don't even got a flag.
Oh, you want to add to that? Okay.
I want to.
It was one more question. Go ahead, Lala.
I want to piggyback off that. I think a lot of people are very much in denial, and a lot of people don't know how to put their pride to the side and just admit that you need help. We put so bad mentally that, oh, I'm okay, I'm da-da-da-da-da-da. But in reality, we can't take constructive criticism because somebody's literally going to tell you about yourself. So when that comes along, we can't admit that, damn, I might be a little messed up. I might need a little bit of help. You know what I'm saying? Put your pride aside. Don't be in denial. It's okay.
You got to put your pride aside before the conversation hits therapy too.
Yes.
Because you probably have a million people already doing what you're saying, telling you that. and that's what's afflicting you because you don't take constructive criticism, or you're not hearing how you're showing up to other people. You may think you're showing up one way, but you have a million people saying, well, I don't mess with her because, or I don't mess with him because, or I don't like what he did X, Y, and Z, because they're looking at a situation as opposed to the person. We need to get more interpersonal with each other. And I really like the way that you said call, that's great information, resource information. But sometimes when people ask for help, they be on their last leg of help. And it's like, help now. I can't pick up the phone. I don't want to call nobody. The person I'm in front of may be melting down too, which is very unfortunate. But if we have these interpersonal conversations on a regular basis, then we can develop those resources, coping skills, each of these mechanisms that will make dealing with situations. It's not always trauma. Sometimes I'm just having a badass day. I don't feel like it. And sometimes I'm not having a bad day. Some days I just want to be left alone.
I think a good coping mechanism also is meditation. Meditation is really, really a good practice and coping mechanism. I experienced going to a meditation class this morning, and I've always seen things that say, oh, meditate for 5 minutes. It'll help your mindset. And actually going to this meditation class, it was an hour. And literally just the peace and quiet literally made me feel lighter. And I have tons of stresses with running 2 businesses. And I'm a mom of a teenager that plays sports. So at the end of the day, I always have something to do or somewhere to go or somewhere to drop somebody off or pick somebody up. So meditation, just taking 5 minutes, starting with 5 minutes and then gradually increasing your time in stillness and silence. I'm telling you, it is a game changer.
I agree. Y'all clap it up for that. Yeah. Go ahead. Key, you want to add to that?
Did you even test your mic out again, Key? Try your mic. Did you even try it? Try it.
His mic ain't on.
Say testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We all right. We can hear you.
Hold on, we're gonna get back to you in a minute. Hold on.
Talking to the mic.
Yeah, we got you.
But I think
Big man, see you, good man.
All right now.
Shout out to Good Man.
Okay.
Shout out to the good man.
Ah, damn.
I'm sorry, hold that thought. And can I say one thing? Because one thing about Black people, we all think the same thing at the same time, but nobody gonna say it. Mm-hmm. The reason why I had this event is just like people that just walked out of this room, because they mean everything to me. I work with people like that every day. Do you understand? We have chronic situations, and him coming in here to voice his concerns, be vulnerable, open up, and he's the only person in the front row. I'm not throwing out no shade, but I'm just saying how that is the call for help right there and there. You understand what I'm saying? Him raising his hand, him sharing his situation, him being vulnerable in the moment, even him walking out right now. I'm gonna go check him in a minute because I know what that walkout means. You understand what I'm saying? But this is why I do what I do. This is why I'm having the conversation that I'm having, because they need to affect all of us. And if we are affecting change amongst us, people like that, it's like my sister just followed, we would have had 2 or 3 more people following him out the walk, because we all understand what is not being said right now. Mm-hmm. Can I get a red flag for it?
Absolutely.
Okay. Absolutely. But I just wanted to thank you, sis. I appreciate that. Love you. All right, my bad. Finish your thought.
You
so
remember?
With your question, yeah, I remember. So with your question, you pretty much said as a friend, how do you help your friend take their first step? I think kind of piggybacking off of what he said, you gotta understand the person you're dealing with too, and how you communicate to that person. Because you may be a person, I can say, and let's say the gym is your thing. I can say, man, get your ass up and let's go. And you'll go. But she may need some coaching. So you got to know how you're approaching your friend. Maybe some words you may say to them may be a trigger. Maybe they may know that you're going through the same traumas as they are, so they don't want to hear from you because they're like, how can you help me? You can't help yourself.
And the question is, do you really know your friends?
Yeah.
Like, some of us know our friends and who they deal with and how they persons to deal with them. Are we really talking about the trauma? Are we talking about how some of us know each other through, not everybody's traumatized, not everybody's healing from something, but everybody can learn something from somebody else. And I really want to employ everybody here to figure out your friends. the next time y'all hang out with your friends, ask each other things that y'all have never asked each other before, because I'm sure there are a million things you don't know about your friends. And that one question, like you said, could give you more insight on how to show up to your friend or be available to your friends. So I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Anybody else? Oh, right here. One more question. Oh, two more questions.
Pink Hat had that flag up all night. Pick her.
Bring in the audience.
I'm chilling, bro.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tiffany Buckley. I'm pumped to be here tonight. Thank you so much for putting on this event.
Yes.
I think that one of the most important things that you can do is ask someone, okay, what do you need right now in the moment? Do you want me to listen, or do you want me to provide some suggestions? Because sometimes people don't want to hear suggestions. They just want to be listened to. So I think that distinction is very important. And then if someone does want suggestions, I always start with, well, what has worked for you in the past? How have you found peace? And I just sit there with them and listen to what they say. Is it maybe you like walking outside, you like yoga, maybe you smoked a tiny bit of cannabis, you felt a little bit better.
Smoked a lot of it.
What was it? Did you get a hug from your grandmother? And we come up with a list of things that could potentially be useful.
Yeah.
And then we kind of go through, and I have them come up with a plan offering some suggestions. So I do this all the time because I am a psychiatric pharmacist. I work in mental health. I work in
You're a psychiatric
Come on, black life school in the building. Help out. Give it up for her one time.
I work in a mental health hospital, and the patients there are really suffering, and the mental health care that we provide isn't always the best. We're doing the best we can in the system, but I always try to say medications is one way, it's not the whole way. So what works for you? So we really sit down and come up with a plan.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank
you.
you so much,
Yes. Pink Hat, that was good. That was good, Pink Hat.
Oh, in the front too.
I'm gonna just stay up here. That light bright, y'all. We can't see. We can't see. That light is bright. Chocolate drop. There you go.
I know that's right.
Okay.
Oh, that's enough.
She was blushing.
I'm just saying.
I told her answer the question. Come on, chocolate.
Okay, so if somebody was coming to me and they didn't know how to take the first step through something they're going through, I would tell them to feel, because I feel like most people don't feel what they're going through, and so everything is cloudy. You can't think straight. You can't see like where you want to go, where you want to be. You like lost. So I would tell them to like feel, understand how you feel, and then, you know, strategize from there. But like cry it out if you need to cry. You know, I feel like a lot of people in our community, they don't, especially when they're reaching out to someone, don't want to cry or be that vulnerable to them because they want to feel like they can do it. But it's like sometimes, you know, it's okay.
Can I say this? I appreciate that, Denise. Thank you. But something ran through my head when you said that. A lot of people, myself included, don't know how to say when something's wrong. I don't know how to ask for help because I'm not used to asking for help. But what my help looks like is when I'm kirking out and I'm losing my mind and I'm like, oh my God, I don't have any help. And then I'll have a cousin who say, well, bring her over here. Or I have a sister that say, well, bring her over here. You know, and that's because those people understand that you're at your maximum right now. And I can hear that. And this is how I can assist you. We're at your maximum. This is how I can assist you. So you have to also get in tune with your support network. And a lot of us who feel like we don't have anybody, we look up and realize that we have a lot more people who we thought we had. It's just not who we expected it to be. So when you are looking for your support, look to those who support you. Look to those who call you, not the people that call you every day, because those are different. That's different. But the people that reach out and it's been like 2 years. And when you get on the phone with that person and you guys pick up where you left off, those are your real friends. Those are people you're locked in. You don't have to validate a relationship every day. I don't have to call you every day and hang on the phone or meet up with you every week to validate our friendship. I have my sister, I can go months without talking to,
Am I lying? And we get on the phone and we pick up right where we're left off because that is the genuine relationship. But what kind of tarnishes that is, like I said, not being able to ask your friends for help because you're also considering where they may be. I'm not going to ask my friend, I'm not going to call my sister or my friend who I know is in the exact same situation that I'm in and ask them to throw me a lifeboat. I'm that considerate friend. And I have those same friends that will say, well, why didn't you reach out? You could have called me. So that is the most important part. That you have to thank you. You have people who will recognize that they will not come to you for help because they're considerate of what you're going through. Does that make sense?
Perfect sense.
So can we be a little bit more available to one another? Is there a possibility that we can do that? All right, cool. Where you at, Bri? I can't see. You in the back? Okay, there you go.
So it's a lot back here you can't see.
I know I can't.
Yeah, they
those
wave
lights,
flags at you, and I
can't
been telling them put it down. I'm gonna let them have this moment.
That's the secret section.
It's your sister.
That's the secret section back there.
It's not your sister, it's Tiff again.
Hey, Tiff again.
Hey.
Oh, that's Tiff.
Yeah, it's me.
Hey, Dr. Tiff, y'all.
Dr. Tiff, y'all. All right, so in what I'm about to say, I actually want to show appreciation to Key. That's my friend. I remember a few months ago, I was really, really down and out. I didn't know what to do. And he was my last resort. And we don't talk every day, but he will text me, like he texted me about this event. I want to come and support him because he supports me. I could just text him, hey, I'm not having a good day, or I'm feeling this way. And he will go into, well, why do you feel like that? What do you need? Because of him, I get through a lot of stuff. Because of him, I got, I'm feeling better about who I am and who I've been the last few months. Because it was tough. Like, he needed me at one point and I needed him more. So when we talk about friends and mental health, like, we don't talk every day. Like, if I didn't come here, I probably went to, hey, Tiff, what you doing? How you feeling? We reach out to each other when we've exhausted all of our options. So I just wanted to give my flowers to him.
Y'all give a big shout out to Key.
That's a good friend.
That's what's up. But that's the things people don't know about you and that don't get recognized. You know what I'm saying? Check on your happy friends.
Yeah. Are you the happy friend?
I'm that
Are
happy
you the happy friend? Do anybody call and check on you?
Everybody call and check on me.
Oh,
so you're not that
I be
happy.
going crazy.
No, you do have to check on your friends, period.
Yeah.
They say check on your happy friend, but the happy friend is not going to answer because they checking on everybody. You know, like don't get it twisted. Everybody have their way of showing up in each other's life. All I'm saying, all this platform is to make sure that everybody does better. That's all. We have to do better with one another. Yes, we can tell them to go to a hotline. Yes, we can tell them to go call somebody. Yes, we can tell them to go to a therapist. But amongst our own, in our family, starting with our mothers, our fathers, the trauma we've experienced in our households, whether it's mother, father, grandma, auntie, whoever you grew up with, then the trauma that you might be inflicting on your child as a result, or your children as a result of not healing and not getting that done. Yeah, you want to add something?
I had a question for you, actually.
Of course.
So, being in the spotlight that you in, your friends, your person that was like your day one home, like your right hand, how do you deal with your success? And I want to say jealousy, but how do you deal with their success when that friend switches up?
That's a good one.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. What I asked him was with the spotlight that he has. With the spotlight that he has, the friends that was his day one, the people that he went to, he leaned on the most, that have changed. How does he deal with it?
Well, it's a couple things. Like, if you understand, I can't, where I came from and how I came up. Most times they don't have jealousy, but if they do, I try to understand why. And most times it's because they feel like I'm in a situation that can change their situation. You know what I'm saying? So how I try to deal with that is I try to just have talks with them. You know what I'm saying? Because if this my real friend, he know how I talk, I know how he talk. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of come from that era where if we gotta fight, then we gotta talk. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, then that's what we gotta do. But for the most part, if I try to just have a dialogue with him, you know what I'm saying? Why you keep, because jealousy come in different ways, you know what I'm saying? Mr. Hollywood, you know what I'm saying? And I'd be like, I wait till we alone and be like, hey, why you keep saying that? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then he'll tell me, because I'm going through this, I got my daughter, and then I'd be like, so why you ain't just say, what can we come up with? You know what I'm saying? Because you my friend for real. And sometimes friends need to get checked like that, because he'll see me online and think, I ain't rich by far. You know what I'm saying? So I'd be like, you could have just asked me. I'll show you. Matter of fact, you know what I'm saying? I'll show you what's going on, and whatever I can do for you, I will, and whatever I can help you do for yourself as well. But for the most part, and if I can't have that conversation, then we just can't be friends no more. You too far gone. So,
I've also learned that you can't interrupt somebody's karma either, or interrupt their, I won't say karma because a lot of people don't believe in that, but you can't interrupt somebody's path in life. So sometimes I have people come to me, and I'm a giving person. So I'm a solution-driven person. Somebody come to me, I'm like, okay, where are you? What you need? How can we get it? Can we get it today? That's me. I'm very solution-driven. But what I've also learned is I've impeded somebody's brick wall that they were supposed to hit. I've stopped the pressure of them learning a lesson because I've come trying to save the day.
Yeah.
And you don't realize that until you're the person that they're draining. You understand? So I'm being drained over and over. And then I'm in realization like, oh, it's this person that's bringing this out of me because I intercepted something that you had already done this. You have done this to somebody already. You were supposed to hit that wall when the wall was facing you. That's why you were reaching out for help. So I employ everybody to take a step back. We can be there for our friends. I know that's contradicting the last thing I said, but also take heed that you're not overdoing and overstepping your own boundaries, because sometimes we see better for others than we see for ourselves. We see better for others than they see for themselves.
Yeah.
So that's another one. But I appreciate that. That makes a lot of sense as far as especially elevating in your career.
Yeah.
And you coming from this, I know you're not from the city, but you're from the outskirts of the city too. So even a lot of the kids went to school with you was probably from the city. They using their Maryland address to get, you from Maryland.
Yeah.
Maryland
got its parts too, you know what I'm saying? So it is.
Maryland definitely got some.
Southeast Maryland too.
We gotta run it through. I'm gonna be a little worse than DC. Tell everybody from Southeast. Okay, no, you're not. And I'm gonna get it. I know we were also supposed to touch tonight on incarcerated individuals, and I'll speak about that because the person that was going to speak about it wasn't able to show up tonight. But I know Key worked in Department of Corrections for about 6 years. Okay, my bad. About 10 years ago. About 10 years ago. I'm trying to get your career in there, huh? He was there with some of us. So can we touch on that tonight a little bit? Because I definitely want to expound on what incarceration does to the mind as well. Because I have a lot of friends that have done 15, 10, 20 plus years in jail, and they come home, and I look at a felon or a returning citizen as somebody who has a head start than people that are sleeping on the streets here. And I'll say why, but can you give us some insight as to what you experienced in the thick of it at the jail? How do you see their mental health? Where were they going through there? I'm sorry, but I'll tell you what stuck out. You have people. I had a friend who lost his mom in jail, and he was not able to make it to the funeral. So can you expound on that? Because I know over 6 years, you've probably seen a lot of that.
It's tough, and I'm pretty sure Tiff gonna raise her flag because we work together. So, it's tough because you definitely do see the different demographics from the rich kids to the poor. Especially race. It plays a lot on them because when you have kids who have the same crime, and let's say a white kid may get probation, but this kid just got 60 years because he's black. It'll mess with his mind because he's like, why does he get better treatment? You may have that kid that already feels like he's alone and he doesn't have anybody to depend on. So to turn around and feel like the system failed you too, that can mess with his mind a lot. I think also with incarceration, some of these more privileged kids see it as a badge of honor. So they will commit these crimes. I've had kids that are in there for stealing cars, and their parents are doctors and lawyers. You know, it's to the point. Exactly. So it plays on them also. Some of these kids don't have places to live. So they'll commit these crimes, like the guy was saying earlier, his friend told him. They will commit these crimes just so they could get the treatment, so they can get somewhere to sleep, someplace to eat, you know. And then the relationships that you build with these kids, you understand they are. So in psychology, isn't it like your trauma is where the last age where it first happened or something like that? A lot of these kids, you can tell. I had a kid that he was well known in the state for the things he was doing, in and out of jail. He was there, but a lot of people didn't realize we would have to wake him up early in the morning because he would pee on himself. Or you had kids who sat here, and I had another kid that he was out of control in the jail. No man could control him, but you had a lady that was like 4'10", that when she stepped on the scene, because he was raised by his grandmother, after his dad abused him, he went to live with her. So when he started committing his crimes, that was something familiar to him. So it played on their mentals a lot, because these are the environments that they grow up in. They don't choose to be here, you know. So when it comes down to their mental health, it's basically what they grew up around. And then a lot of them get conditioned when they go into the system that when they come out, that's their new norm. I have a friend that goes through that. Like the littlest thing to him, you would think it was OCD, but it was what was innate in him when he was in jail. This is what I know. So it gives you that mindset of normalcy, which is wrong, but that's just, you know, certain people's everyday life. So
I appreciate that. And you said something that was very profound as far as people don't age past the age that they experience trauma. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. So if I experienced trauma at 12 years old and now I'm a 30-year-old man and I'm showing up abusive in my relationships and I don't know how to talk to women correctly, or I don't or I hang out with my friends more, like you said, I hang out with my friends more, I treat them better, it's because of that. Some type of dynamic alludes to the fact that I have to impress these people and then I can't be myself around these people. You know what I mean? So has anybody red flag? Give me a red flag. Anybody dealt with somebody who they felt like you're too old to be acting like that? Yeah. Okay. Anybody want to share? Too old to be acting like that. You want to share? She's like, come on, bring me on. You know better.
Oh, man.
I was just kidding. That red flag was flagging. Okay.
You can share your thoughts.
You said I know somebody who need to grow up, child.
I was just kidding.
You were just kidding.
No, the person who I was waving the flag for saw me waving it. That's why I was waving it hard. Hey, baby. Waving it like that.
Hey, well, you was waving that flag because you wanted me to see you. Hey, well.
No, I do agree that people do stop aging at the age where they last had their trauma. A lot of times in conversations that I've had where it has to be like, well, why are you acting like that? Like, not like, why you acting like that, like you too grown, but why are you acting like that? And so someone who's very close to me, we've had conversations about that, about why this person acts the way that they do. And
we ain't gonna put him out there. All right. Well, they don't know who he's talking. I know he's talking about. No, I know he's talking about.
And we've had to have some really in-depth conversations to the point where even relationships that have been, you know, that they've engaged in with as an adult, they still show up as this person from the teenager or the child that was hurt. Sometimes there are things that, for me, I'm like, well, why are you triggered? What is triggering you? And it doesn't come out until later. It's a lot of spitballing, honestly. It's a whole lot of just talking and yelling and crying and fussing and cussing and stuff. And then it's just like, because somebody da-da-da-da. Okay, well, that's what it is. I'm not that person. Yeah. Or, you know, these people the situations are different. And so and that's where therapy comes into play, because a lot of times these are trained individuals that can help unpack those type of things. And God and therapy can exist. They can coexist. You can pray about it, but you can't always pray it away.
You can't.
Okay. So yeah, that's really all I have.
You start that. Yeah. Well, I'm sticking to my argument. I ain't gonna let none of y'all play with me about my argument. All right. I said what I said. We need to go out, and church is within us. I'm not gonna say go to church or anything. But if we say how can we say we believe in something, truly believe in something, if we're not truly doing what that person told us to do? That's all I'm gonna say on that one. But I do agree that you cannot pray mental health away in certain cases. There are certain cases that are superficial or surface level where you're like, I can get through this. That's people who have strong support system and networking, opportunities. But you have people who don't have any ounce of coping skills. They don't have any ounce of support, and you can see them in our city. You'll see someone you leave out of here. So all of us sitting here saying, yeah, call somebody. Some people don't have a phone. Some of us saying, go read. Some of them can't read. I had a grown man who was 56 years old that came into my office, and he pulled me in and told me, I need to learn how to read. I asked him, why was he not signing his name on the sheets? We would have them come in and do this is who I am, this is how I feel today worksheet type of situation, and he would never turn them in. So I learned that this grown man had never learned to read, and I went to go print out hooked on phonics cards, and we worked on those things. I'm not going to affect a grandeur change, but I met him where he was, and I assisted him where I could. So that's what that looks like. You know what I mean? Like we have to be available to one another. It's not going to hurt us to help one another out. It can only get better. Y'all agree? Red flag? I see. No, okay. I ain't seen no red flag. I ain't seen nobody.
No red flag. We agree.
Okay. Does anybody want to share any key takeaways that they've learned tonight? Anybody? Oh, got a question? Back here. There's a question.
Oh, nice. That's not a question.
Oh,
that's Courtney.
I saw your head.
Nothing with these lights.
Yes.
She's moving around.
That's a Bree.
Get it, Bree. My co-host. Yes.
A key takeaway that I would like everyone to take home is like, take care of your mental health. Not only your mental health, your physical health. Also, if you have children and you fucked up, apologize.
Right.
Well, my father called me when I was 19 out the blue one day and just apologized to me. And I started crying. This nigga started crying. Like, for real. But we had a deep conversation. He was like, yo, like, I apologize for all the fucked up shit I did. And if there's anything I missed, let me know. And I let him know, like, you forgot this, forgot that. I had a list. But he was keeping it real. But what I want to take away from this is we're all human. We're all human. And I would say we're all human. We forget things. We're not perfect.
That's right.
Remember that your parents are just people too.
Yeah. That's a big one. That's a big one.
But all I want to say is, like, let's give a little bit of grace to each other and be able, like, and I still struggle with being able to be patient, but we have to learn to be patient with each other a lot of the times. That's all I'm gonna leave with everyone with. Like,
thank you, Courtney. I appreciate
that.
Court. That was good. Thank you. Yeah. It's one behind, down in front, and then one behind you after that.
Yeah, I know this one.
Take your time, Bree.
You can stay right there for real.
I'm gonna say I just got a question. Let me know if I'm a little bit ahead of my time though. But this is just something I was genuinely wondering during the whole podcast. How does one ask for help? How does one? Because I'm a very prideful person. I will be honest with you all. I'm very, very prideful. I'm within myself. But how does one set this to the side and say, "Hey guys, I really need help"? I can't say it like that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I can't say it like that.
It sounds
I'm in a good mood right now, so I can say it like that right now.
And like we said earlier too, you got to put your pride aside, and not even if it's your pride, not even if you do have a big ego, you don't have to have a big ego. Your cry for help could just be the way you act when you go outside and you get drunk. Your
cry for help, that you have. You're all. It's just you. You can't
somebody that cares enough about you is gonna pay attention enough, and they're gonna hear your cry.
But you gotta put yourself in a situation. You gotta sit still long enough to be seen.
Exactly.
a lot of us run from our own issues. We're running into more problems.
Exactly.
So what I thought I was running away from, I done got that times 10, and now I'm trying to heal from you, them. I'm gonna run to you, and then I'm gonna heal from you. Then I gotta heal from my mama because I'm running towards you because you look like my mama or you act like my mama. I'm running towards you because you look like my dad or act like my dad. And now I'm realizing like I'm not even attracted to them people. I'm trying to fill a void.
Are you calling for separation or are you calling for
I
just
would
more
call for
understanding?
a healthy amount of what the Bible says is examining yourself. But without the Bible, it's a healthy process of isolating yourself from anything that could influence you, good or bad. Because a lot of us make decisions based on our environment as opposed to what we want to do. I'm only going to do this because I'm here. I'm drinking at the club tonight because I'm at the club. I don't normally drink. So my environment is going to dictate to what I'm doing as opposed to I have my boundaries. I set my boundaries. I set what I do. If I'm at the club, if I'm at church, I'm going to be the same. We drinking fruit juice everywhere we go. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to, you only learn that when you spend time with yourself. If you're spending time with everybody else, you're just giving yourself away. Pieces of you that you don't even know because you're coming into people who are not healed as well. And when you're healing, you'll be able to tell who's healing around you because you won't tolerate certain stuff. Your boundaries will be very clear. Your tolerance will be very low, and you will be moving on to what satisfies you, what edifies you, as the Bible would say, what edifies your spirit and what edifies God. And aside from the Bible, but your isolation is important to you. Isolation is not good for a lot of people because we find that a lot of people commit suicide. I don't know if anybody's ever lost a friend. I've lost 2 friends to committing suicide, and it was not pretty. I lost a childhood friend. I lost 2 childhood friends, one as a child, as a 10-year-old child, and one in my adulthood who just had enough. He was in the LGBT community. He did not have parents that accepted him. He parked his car in a driveway and he let himself go. And that was his story. And it doesn't have to be everybody's story. And it's not just because the parents didn't accept him. It was because he didn't find his peace within himself. He couldn't accept himself because the environments he was putting himself in wasn't accepting of him. You understand what I'm saying? So sometimes my parents may not accept me, but this may not be the environment for me right now. That's not to say that just because I'm making choices that make me happy that I can't be wrong. I can be wrong. And when people tell you you're wrong, it's going to mess with your pride. It's going to mess with your ego. And that's when you're going to say, all right, I ain't fucking with you no more. Excuse my language, but I'm not messing with you no more. I'm going to go over here. And that's how the trauma travels. Because I'm trying to get told what I want to hear as opposed to what I need to hear. Yeah, red flag? Anybody agree? Yeah, period. All right, y'all. I'm thankful that y'all came out tonight. I could do this all night. I'm telling you, I do it for a living now. But as the seasons change, we know that seasonal depression is a very real thing. I held this event in October because we're about to go into the cold. There are a lot of how many people are familiar with the young lady that used to live under the bridge right here, Pennsylvania Avenue? Anybody know? I was very near. Yeah, I used to work with her back in. Yeah. Sometimes just even passing by, we have a sense of entitlement. I'm entitled to see her there. And now that she's not there, it's like, oh my God, what could we have done? And that lady stayed there for umpteen years. And this is why I chose to have it now, because as the seasons change, people are going into hypothermia. People don't have families. People don't have food. People don't have shelter. And if we can do anything to affect change, yes, we came here dressed up. Yes, we came here to look good. But I want everybody to leave here with key takeaways. I want somebody to help someone other than somebody they know. Because the people we know, we're not making change with them. The only way you can make change is when you do something outside of your circle. I learned with this event that you have to go outside of your circle, and then your circle will rally around you, because my circle was here tonight. Let me shout my entire circle out that is here tonight. Full circle. Come on, circle.
We in here.
Come on, circle. Shout out my sister, my cousin Sharice, my top D, and my baby Lala, and everybody else here. I got Dia here, Courtney, Terry.
Shout out to everybody.
Bree, Nika, my sister, my mama in here, my grandmama.
Yes.
I know y'all heard me say my mama was gone, but that's my sister mama. And that's how we can compensate. I grew up without, like I said, without. But I have mamas. I got 10 mamas, truly. And that's because the village took up what they were supposed to take up. If we can be each other's village, it's not us raising children, because some of us are still kids. Some of us are grown children right now walking around with temper tantrums that we're going to leave when we leave out of here. Why you didn't call me back? Why you didn't do this? Why you didn't do that? Why I can't get my way? So that is the key takeaway for everybody, to help somebody other than yourself. Y'all got that one? That's the first one. All right, so I'm gonna do my shout outs right now. Shout out to all of my sponsors, everybody who came out. I want to shout out Life Enhancement Services. Is Kanita?
I was about
Okay, I was gonna say I'll shout them out later. If you're feeling a seasonal shift in your spirit, don't hesitate to reach out and talk to somebody or lean on your resources around you. Remember, you do not have to face this alone. Big love and appreciation to our incredible panelists for sharing their wisdom. Y'all give it up for our panelists, sharing their wisdom. I know he's not in here right now, but shout out to DJ Lingo. He out there in the ones and twos. He gonna give y'all some good music on the way out. And of course, major shout outs to our dedicated sponsors and our partners. Is she right there? She'll be in here in a minute, but that's my partner. I'm gonna shout her in a minute. Let's give them a round of applause so far, though, and give yourselves a big shout out. Y'all came out looking good, feeling good. Y'all did a great thing. I'm really proud of everybody for coming out tonight. So I definitely want to shout out Life Enhancement Life Enhancement Service. I'm tired.
Life Enhancement.
Life Enhancement.
I got you. Take 5.
Take 5.
Boom. Bam.
Take.
We're live.
Shout out to Life Enhancement.
Take 7.
Life Enhancement Services. They are our top sponsors tonight. You guys will see their emblems on the back of our logos. They are one of the top core service agencies in Washington, D.C., providing resources, mental health resources for families and individuals. All you need to sign up with them is DC Medicaid. They work with some private insurances. You will have to inquire with them, but they serve us. They're around the corner, and they are in Northeast, and they're about to be in Maryland. So there's no excuse for anybody
Let's
not
give
to
it
be
up.
reaching out or sending somebody their way.
Yes.
We all know somebody, or we are that somebody that needs help. Amen.
Life Enhancement. Give a big shout out to them. Yes.
And a big shout out to my baby sister over there. She hates this part. Shout out to my baby sister, Kanita. Kanita wears several hats. She is a virtual assistant for this event. She has held our social media. She held it down. She held down our tickets. She held anything administrative. That should go too.
Okay.
Shout out. Yes, KB Virtual Assistant. Y'all get at her for y'all needs. This is a networking event on top of everything. So everybody in here is truly beneficial to the next person. Rub elbows, get to know somebody that you don't. If you walk past, hey, what's your name? Where you work at? Because that's what I do. Where you work at? What you do? Because how can we partner? That's my first question. I'm a mental health specialist by day. All day. I'm in school at night and a mama. Every day. All day.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So let's give them a round of applause again. Our partners in the leading and all. Her project is also Kanita's. She's running a youth and family services for families. She's in Baltimore. She was in DC at some point, but she's in Delaware as well. So y'all reach out to them for nonprofit organization needs as well. Shout out to Rabble Rousers Entertainment. Hey Jay. Can we get up? 1, 2, 3. Hey Jay. 1, 2, 3.
Hey Jay.
That's it. Jay is our one and only rock star. He's the mogul for the engineer. He's a sound engineer, audio engineer, you name it. He runs the podcast. He's the brains behind the mics. And also, while we're here at the Black Box Theater, can y'all give a shout out to Christian? Say, hey, Christian.
Hey, Christian.
Christian holding it here at the Anacostia Art Center as well. You guys feel free to get some of their memorabilia or paraphernalia from outside. Like I said, this is a resource hub. You guys can rent out here, do whatever your needs. They have vendors upstairs. There are offices. If you're looking for office space, they have office space down. They're very affordable, flexible. This is a really nice work environment. That's all I'm gonna say about this place today. I promise. And also shout out to the food. Y'all like the food? Come on now, say something about the food. Give a shout out to my big brother. And one thing about me, nepotism is a word that I use. I'm going to my family first, okay? Reliable. If you're reliable, I'm calling you. Simple as that. Shout out to my big brother, Davon. And providing our food. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And a touch from a dove. That was where y'all got y'all delicious sweet. I better have some banana pudding.
That banana pudding was good.
Yeah, somebody said she put her foot in that.
I got one over here and ain't nobody getting it.
Oh, you got it. That's
Ain't
mine.
nobody
Oh, you do
getting
have it.
it. Hey,
It's right there by the mouth.
this is mine. Everybody, this is
But most
mine.
importantly, thank you to each and every one of you all for coming out to support me. Y'all give yourselves a round of applause.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it. Okay. All right. Until next time, I thank y'all for coming out and supporting this event. We will be hosting another event very soon. I'm looking to do a Christmas kickback, but for sure we have our Valentine's Day sale. So I don't know. I don't see a lot of couples in here. If y'all not booed up by February 2025, y'all come and we're gonna have a great debate. It's gonna call the date debate. So we're gonna have men versus women. It's gonna be a real good time. It's gonna be cocktail. We're gonna look good. It will not be here, but we are gonna have a great time. Yeah, y'all coming out? Y'all coming out? All right. Whoever coming out from here, y'all gonna get a 10% discount off those tickets. Yeah?
Hold on, Corinne, before you close out, we gotta shout out our winners for the swag bag.
Oh yeah,
we gotta shout out our winners for the swag bag.
We have
I know first up we had Fashion Junkie. Shout out to Danny up here in the crowd.
Fashion Junkie
looking like she's crip banging, blood swinging. And shout out to Corinne. Shout out to you always. Shout out to Chanel. She also was one of the winners. Okay. We had one more, but I can't remember their Instagram name.
It's on the Instagram.
We had 3 winners. Whoever followed the We So Social Instagram page first, and y'all was the 3 winners. So y'all definitely get a swag bag. So make sure y'all stop by us and let us know before leaving out, so we can get your swag bag, boy.
Period. All right, before we leave, y'all know I started off talking about Jesus. I'm gonna end this talking about my God.
Let's do it.
Y'all bow y'all heads, close your eyes.
Let's
For those who believe, those who don't, just look around or something. Do what y'all gonna do. Thank you, God, for another day. Thank you for everything you've done, everything you're doing, and everything you're going to do. Lord, you have filled my cup, and I am so appreciative. Thank you for everybody that made it out tonight. I pray that you make sure that they have safe travels home, make sure that their families are sound, that their minds are in one piece, that their bodies are in one piece, and that they can go out in the world and share some of the information that they learned tonight. Thank you for using me and my team as a vessel to get this message out, Lord. It is in your name that I say thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right.
All right, y'all. What a night.
Good night now.
Yes, what a night, y'all. So we laughed, we learned, and we shared some real truths in this space. But before we wrap it up, I want to give a huge shout out to Corinne, y'all. She's the real MVP of tonight. The powerhouse behind the magic. Her name is Corinne.